Hello everybody, again it's me Chef Karl and nice to see you all, and yes, as you guessed it, we're back again to do dinner at Jill's, and with me this evening I've got a very special friend and guest who's backpacking around Australia at the moment, and me and this chappie, we work together on the Queen Mary 2 as a couple of likely chefs having a bit of a good time on the ship at the time. Anyway, so in he comes is my good friend Adam Taberner. Adam Taberner, also a professional chef. And how you doing, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. Looking all tanned up on your travels.
Oh, I've been a few places now.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about where you've been and what you've been up to.
Oh, started off in New Zealand, snowboarded there for about 6 months. Then we've had a few weeks in Fiji and been travelling around Australia for the last 3 months.
Awesome, awesome. So welcome to Jill's anyway, and we're going to do dinner at Jill's anyway, so we're probably going to crack on. So I'm going to start off with a few little jobs. I've been out to Jill's garden today and I picked a shed load of these lovely sort of cherry Roma tomatoes. I've just got a few here left. So I'm just taking, as you can see, the hull off them. And I'm going to actually confit these, so I'm going to get back on to what I'm doing. I've got a couple of capsicums here, and what I'm going to leave them whole, just pop them into a little roasting dish. And again, I'm just going to dribble some olive oil on top of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to roast these off just for a little bit, for about 15 minutes in the oven, just until the skin blisters up and the flesh goes nice and soft on the inside. And then what we'll do after then is we'll de-seed them, and we'll take off all that outside skin, and we're going to use that in our lovely Taberner salad. So I just sprinkle a bit of seasoning there, some pepper and salt. And I've got an oven heated up to about 180 degrees as well, which is fairly hot, so we're just going to bang them in on the top shelf and just get them. So what you want there then, Adam?
Right. What I was for later on in my dish, to make a ginger and chilli in fragrant oil, I'm also already just peeling the ginger. With the scraps of the ginger, I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to actually put some of them into a pot, just making sort of a bisque, a Thai infused sort of bisque, with the crab shells. For the second part of it, I'm going to chop this down quite crab shell dishes. Then
Well, that sounds awesome, mate. It smells wicked anyway. Well, I'm just going to crack on anyway, and I'm going to get my butter ready for rubbing up my chicken. I'm just going to finely chop up a lovely piece of garlic. What we're going to do, we're going to rub this into some already softened butter, in with a little bit of salt and pepper. I've got just a touch of Moroccan spice as well, just to lift the flavour and give the butter a bit of colour. And then into that as well, I'm going to take the zest of 1 lime, courtesy of Jill's wonderful lime tree in her back garden there. And then what we're going to do is, when I've rubbed all this into the butter and made it nice and soft, we're going to actually massage that into our chickens, and then we're going to get them roasting off on a nice medium heat oven. So there goes our garlic. Quick sprinkle of salt. And a quick crack of lovely black pepper. And what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to take about just about 100 grams of room temperature butter. And then what I've got as well then is a packet of dry Italian mixed herbs. You can pick these up at the supermarket. They cost you literally only $1 for a packet. And because they're nice and dry, they'll work well with our chicken, and they'll give off a wonderful fragrant aroma. Alright. Then what you do then is just squish all that up into the butter with your fingers. You can do that, that's fine. And also makes the butter nice and pliable for massaging into the chickens. I've got my chickens nicely trussed up and sat into a roasting dish. So I'm just going to take some of this wonderful butter mixture that I've made earlier on, and what we're going to do is we're going to get that and rub it really in, massage it in nicely, and then as soon as the butter sticks, that's it, you'll get all them flavours really working into the skin of the chicken. It's going to taste awesome when we finish roasting it. Okay, so I've just buttered up my chickens now, and then what I'm going to do is just give them a final seasoning with a bit of cracked black pepper. So I'll just give them a final seasoning with the cracked black pepper, and then another twist of sea salt. Just another sprinkle as well of the dry herbs, just all over the top of the chicken there, and this is going to work wonderful with all those other flavours that we have. And then I'm just going to bang these straight into a hot oven and cook them away, because we want the skin on these to go nice and golden brown and crispy.
I'm getting together, what I'm going to make is like a sort of a pesto with using Asian herbs though. So we've got chilies, garlic, coriander, and some lime juice. I'm going to pick some basil down. And in that, I'm going to blitz it all up, and I'm going to use that as a little sauce for afterwards, just over the top.
Fantastic. Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to go on to another component of my dish now, and we're going to make what we call a panzanella salad, which is like an Italian bread salad. So, and the idea of this salad, I think, was originally thought up so you can use some old bread. If you have old bread and it's like a day old and it's not as fresh as what it was yesterday, you can chop that up and use that. But also as well, it's for using a dense bread. So I've got two types here. I've got just some of yesterday's fresh bread which is left over, and I've got an Italian sort of ciabatta style panze, or panza as they call it, which means bread or loaf of bread. So we're going to cut these up with my bread knife into large bite-sized pieces, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bake these off in the oven on a fairly high heat, but we want these to go really fairly crisp and crunchy, because the other ingredients that we stick into this salad then are going to put a bit of extra moisture back into that bread, but using all the natural flavours that we're going to be using.
I'll blitz my basil leaves now into what I've got here is some olive oil. I've got some chilli and some garlic and some coriander. I'll blitz that all together with a little bit of basil, which will make it just a little bit sweeter and easier to take. And that should all go quite well with the crab.
Sounds gorgeous, mate. Okay, so I've got all my bread cut up and I've got them just put down into a lined baking tray. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take a clove of garlic, just completely squash it out down there just to remove the outer skins. And I'm not going to chop this up, I'm going to leave this in large chunks. I'm just going to break this up and just throw it in with the bread. And we're going to let that slowly cook in the oven with these breadcrumbs when we go to toast them off. So just give them a little mix around with the oil in there as well with the garlic. Then we're going to take some extra virgin olive oil, just give them a light sprinkle over the top. And then we're going to season these up now with some nice salt and pepper, bang them in the oven. These are the capsicums that we popped in the oven earlier on to roast off. If you give them a feel now, they feel quite like a hot balloon kind of thing, so don't press them too hard in case any steam comes out, because it will burn you. But these are ready now. As you can see, the skin is blistered, so we'll just let them cool on the side for a bit, and when they're cool, I'll show you how to deseed them and then take the skin off. It's dead simple, but absolutely delicious. Just checking my confit cherry tomatoes. The trick is when you're cooking these confit tomatoes, you've got to put them on low heat so the oil doesn't boil. And cook them only until just the skin split and the flesh on the outside is just nice and tender. So these are ready now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain these off, keep a little bit of the oil back later on for the dressing, and then stick them somewhere.
I've got some bok choy here, I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm just getting my salad ready for later, because it doesn't take too long to cook, so we're going to get everything ready, and it's just a case of throwing it all in together and just watching it all cook out and the flavours together.
Awesome, sounds good to me. Alright, well I'm just draining off, as you can see, my confit cherry tomatoes. And these will be hot, so be careful when you do this. And I'm just going to pop them into the bowl that we're eventually going to mix the salad in, because if any juices come off these tomatoes when they're cooling down, awesome flavour to have in your dressing for the salad. So, and you can even pop that little bit of garlic as well. You can pop that in with this salad. Just leave it in there, that will mix up when we eventually toss the salad a little bit later. Okay, so we'll set them right to cool. And what we're going to do is we'll go to roasted capsicums. Now these have cooled down a bit, now they're wonderful and soft. And what I'm going to do to clean these up is I'm just going to slice them straight in half. And as you can see, but be careful because they are very hot on the inside. So you can just take them white seedy bits. And that should just pull straight out. And then also drain off any excess liquid. And now that they're cooked, you can put these down perfectly flat onto a bench. And this is how we remove the skin. It's just by taking the blade of the knife and just scraping it up the flesh of the capsicum. And as you can see, that comes off nice and easy. But it's always best to do these as well while they're still warm, because sometimes when they cool down they can be a little bit hard.
Just put the garnish for my soup into the bottom of the bowl, just ready to go, because obviously the thinner it is, the more raw and more flavoursome you want it. So I've left some bok choy leaves in the pan. I'm going to put maybe a couple of sprigs of basil in there as well. And generally, when the dish finishes cooking as it's presented, so it'll all be in there, and once the hot sauce is over the top, the rest of it will cook at the table.
Alright, so I'm just going to go and check my croutons that are in the oven, but at first, before I'm going to do that, do you remember the pan that I cooked the tomatoes in, or confit the tomatoes? Well, I got it there, and I've just drained off the tomato oil that was left in there, so I left a very fine glaze of olive oil. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some sugar in there. I'm just going to pop that then on the back stove and just bring that down to a fine caramel. And what I'm going to do is pour in some balsamic vinegar into that then, and then reduce that down to a fine syrup. Alright, we're going to use that in with our dressing. What I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to quickly pop them open. As you can see, there's a lot of juice that comes out there. So we're going to squeeze all of these ones open, because we want that juice as part of our dressing when we finalise. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the capsicums that I roasted off and skinned earlier. And I'm cutting these into what we call a julienne cut, or like a matchstick kind of cut. I'm going to pop all of them in with our confit tomatoes. And the flavour that you get from this salad is just so fresh and so pungent. It is a salad to die for, especially during the summer months. It's nice, it's low on calories, and it's very tasty to eat. It goes well with meat and fish.
Also, the ginger and garlic off, I want it really golden brown and crispy.
That sounds awesome. It smells divinely. So I have my red onion peeled here. And please don't try this at home. I am a trained professional, as I keep telling you. And you want to keep all of your fingers, whereas I'm used to chopping this fast now. At this stage of my life. Awesome. So we're going to scrunch all of that up into our wonderful salad.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm using some of the old bigger bits of shell. I'm putting them in there with a bit of reduced garlic and some chilli, some ginger. Not too many, I just want to set them off low and go. Take some out of the pan. While I'm doing that, I'm going to lay the rest of them into the oven tip. And I'm just going to add a few more top.
Dinner at Jill's yet again. What a wonderful surprise and what a wonderful treat we're all in for tonight. So we've got tonight a Mediterranean style roast chicken, nicely glazed off and golden brown in the oven, with a wonderful pantanella salad, which is like a nice salad of large chunky croutons, bread roasted off in garlic, black olives, some confit cherry tomatoes, some roasted capsicum, fresh basil and some red onions, finished with a lovely balsamic glaze. I like that.
Thai soup, with fresh basil leaves running through it, and for the main you've got roasted crab with pesto, basil, olive oil,